Gruesome Magazine.
Hello once again, I am your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts, Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are reviewing LAIR, a UK horror film
Evil
out
LAIR?
now. Yeah.
Evil LAIR.
Yeah, you gotta do it like that. Yes. Joining me this week is my co-host, Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Welcome to my lair.
Okay.
Wow, that was.
I
that
don't
was
even know how
so
I feel
awesome.
right now.
All right, also joining us this week.
God,
Pay no
it's like
attention
I
to the red light
swear.
at the end of the hall. Yeah.
Oh, that was great. Welcome, Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I was good. I was going to get a Post-it note and like put "help me" and put
Yep.
it back here, but I couldn't find my Post-it notes because that's kind of how I feel right now, much like Christopher.
Please help me. All right, also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. We are going to need your experience and
Yeah.
knowledge for this one, sir.
Oh. I don't know where to
Really?
start with this film. This film is as haunted as the characters.
Hmm.
That's all I gotta say.
It's true.
All right. Well, before we bury the lead, what are we going to do? We are going to we're going to first start off giving our first impressions. That will be spoiler free, and then we'll dive into a discussion, which we will touch on some spoilers. I don't think we'll try to spoil everything, but maybe we will. We'll see. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And why are we still looking at it, Christopher? Come on.
I don't
'Cause
know.
he's
Maybe
cute.
I'm
What's
so
wrong
good
with
looking.
Christopher?
There you
And
go.
he's got a cool room.
All right.
Yeah.
He
Got the
does.
stripes.
It's all the stripes.
Yeah.
All right. Before we start off, we want to thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And of course, if you want to help us out, it's easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, or share with a friend, and it will do wonders for us. And of course, more than anything, we want to hear your comments down below. All right. What film are we talking about? What is this LAIR you're talking about? All right. LAIR is available on digital and video on demand beginning November 9th, 2021 from director Adam Ethan Crow, written by Adam and Stuart Wright. The cast includes Oded, Fehr, Corey Johnson, Emily Haigh, Alexandra, Gilbreath, Alana, Wallace, Aislinn, maybe, Sean Buchanan, and Anya, Newall. What?
Buchanan?
Buchanan. What did I say? Buchanan? Oh my God.
I just
You can see my face now.
So
I'm
sad.
so embarrassed.
and sweet and
I'm so
sad.
embarrassed. No, it's heavy on the sad. Synopsis: a fractured family are forced to face their demons, metaphorically and literally, as they unwittingly become embroiled in a man's attempt to prove the existence of the supernatural in order to overturn a friend's murder conviction. Conviction. Forget it. Conviction.
Oh,
Conviction. Conviction. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Why am I the one that screws everything up? Because that's my thing, I guess. All right, let's dive into our first impressions. Christopher G. Mohr, you sir are up first.
No.
Ooh,
What did you think
bad
of LAIR?
choice.
Mm.
This film is a mess. Although I was entertained by the fact that the main actor, who's like a great value version of Ed O'Neill,
Mhm.
they give him lines that I feel like a stand-up comedian would use.
Yes,
And I
definitely.
kept writing, and after a while, I just gave up writing them all down because it was like, really, that's the dialogue you have this guy say? Because it's like there's like one part, it's like, giving a fuck doesn't go with my outfit, you know? What do you?
It's
What
not
do you-
even funny. It's,
Yeah, and there's even like other characters. Like there's a British lady's like, I didn't plug your life support to charge my phone. And I'm like, who is writing this? Somebody's trying to be overly witty in a film that doesn't need to be overly witty. Yeah, the motivation of the main character doesn't make any sense.
mm-mm.
I mean, I give them props for presenting like a couple, like a gay couple and their kid, but then there's like a makeout scene where they set it to like Skinemax softcore music for some reason. The music's weird in places.
Mm-hmm.
The sound design is off in places that they use like shoe walking 101 with the sounds every time somebody's walking in a hallway. I mean, and then like the last third, the structure of it goes off, and they're like,
that's so weird.
and I like, am I missing a reel? Like when I used to work in a movie theater, they'd sometimes miss a reel or they mess up a reel, and I'm like, I don't understand what just happened. Did we skip forward? I don't know. Yeah, it's very confusing. And this main character guy who's creepy AF. I don't know. This film was very frustrating. I mean, I will say there was like one moment that actually was a really good jump scare for me. That actually made me jump. But other than that, it didn't really make any sense, and they didn't really explain anything. And then they have this whole thing. This isn't spoilery, but there's a thing at the end. It almost feels like something that would.
Yeah. Oh no! Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's like it just felt like an ending of like Tales from the Dark Side or something. It's just very weird. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't. It's a very confusing movie. And they don't even explain the whole supernatural aspect of it, other than it being attached to something. So I don't know. It's. I don't know. There's parts of it that are kind of shot okay, but then it felt like blah. Like we're going to have a opening prison scene where the light just perfectly hits the guy on his face,
Okay, and I do love that actor though.
They had the guy from The Mummy. I was like, ooh. It's like, why is this why he's here? Because of that book of the from The Mummy? Which would have been a better story. I don't know. I'm going to stop talking because this film frustrated me immensely. Just how scattered it is and irritating. Just the story, the motivations. That main character is so annoying. I wish he would have died in the very beginning because it's the horrible. Why is this the main character? You don't like him. He's an asshole. Mm-hmm. And his motivations don't make any sense by the end of it. Yeah. So I'll stop.
And the character in the prison, his name is Dollarhide. And I kept thinking, where have I heard that name? Where
where you've heard that name.
Yeah, it's from...
What is it?
Red Dragon.
From Hannibal, from Red Dragon.
Oh my God.
And I just
I just kept thinking about better versions of
Dollarhide. Yeah, why would they... That was not
It just
smart.
felt like a Silence of the Lambs Hannibal type thing, and just don't compare yourself to stuff that's going to make this look like.
So do you think that was on purpose?
Bathroom.
Yes.
Or was that just a coincidence?
I think that was on purpose.
All right,
it has to be. What a strange.
It is, right? It is.
Yeah.
They're trying to do it. Probably it's some sort of Easter egg, and it's like you shouldn't.
They're being trying to overly witty. That's the problem with this.
Yeah, little sly.
Dialogue.
All right, Jeff Mohr, sir. What was your first impression of LAIR?
Well, a couple times a year, this happens to me. But I hated every character in this movie.
Oh my goodness!
So annoying and irritating, and made no sense. And what the hell? I mean, yeah, you could have some of these problems, but really, how long? God, it just went on and on and on. The relationship between Maria and Carly, I think it was. Actually, Joey kind of seemed like a normal teenager, but her mom was so screwed up. She was
oh my gosh.
And then the little girl too. I wanted to see, actually, I really liked that first part, and I wanted to see more of Oded Fehr, but
me too.
But to the sound, I couldn't understand a damn thing he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When he was in that prison cell, I kept messing with the sound, trying to figure out what he was saying. So yeah, and that guy Stephen Caramore, and it's not the actor's fault. It was.
I feel like he ad-libbed a lot of that too.
Well, it was like somebody on meth is really what it was like, or somebody on speed of some kind,
Yes.
or with some sort of psychological problem. But the guy could not shut up, and nobody could have a conversation with him because he interrupted him all the time, and that's okay. You know, are there people like that? I know people like that. I've known a couple people like that, but I don't want to see him in a movie where I got to spend an hour and a half with him. I just, because I would get the hell away right away. So, yeah, the characters were so irritating. It was hard for me to enjoy the movie. Now, there's some cool deaths, some very violent deaths but it kind of felt like, that I don't know why, but I'm thinking when you have scenes like this with it being paranormal or supernatural, there should be some feeling of, where's the goosebumps? Where's the frisson? Where's the, and it just wasn't there. It was kind of flat leading up to it, and then boom. And that's okay, for a jump scare, but the whole thing was like that. At least to me. I wasn't.
No, yeah.
No sense of dread. No sense of dread.
Yes, perfect. Yep.
All right, Crystal, what was your first impression of LAIR? How much did you love it?
This movie's garbage. Like, it's okay. It has like one or two good things. Like, I feel like I don't want to poop all over this director because I feel like there's still something there inside of whoever this director is. I don't think he's necessarily awful or bad, because I did like some of the shots. I liked the way some of the scares were orchestrated. So there's something there. This unfortunately was not the story, and the script of this was just tragic. It was horrible. It's like there's too much exposition. It's so obvious that a guy wrote it, because looking at the lesbian scene, I was like I'll tell you this. When I was watching it, I was like, a guy wrote this.
No.
It's so obvious. Like, look, it's when it's that obvious, there's a problem. And maybe you need to have multiple, there's unfortunately a lot of directors and stuff get people around them who always agree with them. And so they don't learn, and they think it's good. And they're like, everyone else is just a hater. No, you just have the wrong people around you. You need people who are going to be honest with you and tell you that's not the way people talk. That's not like they were talking about the main dude. Like, he's sitting here, he's like, oh my God, why does he have to talk all the time? Why is there so much exposition? Why do you not know how to tell a story without verbal diarrhea? Sorry, this is a big one for me. Like, I cannot stand a director that cannot tell a story visually. If you can't shoot a movie without any dialogue at some point in your career, then you're not a good director.
Ouch. Okay.
Because it's all about the visuals. It's all about what you see.
Well,
but
when you have people like Tarantino that can do stuff with dialogue and it works, but not everybody can be that. So, but
and then it's the actors too, because that dude, every time he talked, I cringed. Okay, I was like, oh God, because every time he delivered something, it felt added on. It didn't feel nothing felt natural with him. It felt like he was in a completely different movie from the other people too. It's just so.
Yeah,
then
I felt that for sure.
The freaking weird time jump. Why? What?
Right.
What was your
I forgot to mention
process
that. That was
and
very
theory?
strange.
What on earth are you doing? Because for one, we didn't get any warning. And by the time you finally figure it out, you're like, why did they jump? Were they trying to delays? You're delaying nothing.
And they're using kind of a found footage method, and they're so out of the found footage that, I understand. We talk about this a lot, Doc. I'm not a rigid found footage person, but this was terrible.
Yeah.
In terms of what could exist and what couldn't exist in terms of.
Anyway. Such a disappointment. Because, so what I did like, though, is I did like the idea. Sorry. I did like the idea of what was behind it. I like that he was, not necessarily that they were fake ghost hunters, but that he was trying to get in and like swap out these items to figure out what was, which I don't think we even figured out what it was. Oh, it was that angel,
we did. Yeah, we did.
The angel thing. Only because of the
stinger.
That auction thing.
Yep.
No. Okay, I'm done talking about this thing. I forgot about that. I'm over it. No.
Yeah. So I did not enjoy myself with this
Garbage.
movie either. It's the dialogue is horrendous, and you're absolutely right. The characters are the guy in the room with all the camera, all the screens feels like he's an entirely different movie than the family, and it really feels awkward. And the whole time jump was just like, what are we doing? And what are we trying? What are we trying to accomplish with this? And I didn't get it. I didn't get it. If there's something there, it went by me, it went over my head. However, I will say that I did enjoy some of the scares that were set up. I thought some of them were pretty effective. They caught my attention, and even though maybe the effects were, CGI heavy, and obviously I thought they were effective. They worked in this particular film. Let's put it that way. And there's one performance that I actually thought was really good, and I think it was Carly. Is that the outsider girlfriend? Do I have the right character? When she realizes that she's in a bad place with this family, and she goes off, I really liked it. I thought she did a great job, and I felt her performance there. And I liked the daughter too. I liked how frustrated she was, and the older daughter, and her situation. So there are moments in here that I liked, and I did enjoy the base concept. And I think Crystal, you were saying that too. That this guy wants to figure out which of these items is the trigger, I'm not convinced it was handled very well. It's a little definitely handled and kind of loses track of itself. So overall, not a fan.
Well, I mean, this could have been handled. It could have been like Haunting a Hill House or something. It could have been where he'd bring in all these investigators and they all, But to me, it just felt wrong that he's bringing this family in after his friend or whatever has already killed his whole family and stuff. So he just felt very asshole-ish, Then also
very irresponsible. Yeah.
Well, but irresponsible and voyeuristic, to where he's like watching these, women, have their way with each other and stuff. And I'm like, I just
have their way with each other.
Well,
yes.
You know what I mean. And their Skinamax, in their Skinamax scene, which to me I started laughing because they play this music. It just felt like 90s softcore music or whatever. I don't know. But when you talk about the main character, he feels like he stepped out of a sitcom because like that whole scene, even when he's talking to like the guy from The Mummy, and then later when he's talking to that stereotype British lady, evil British lady, whatever she was, every line is like a one-liner.
Yeah,
every line of it. I mean, there's or when he's even talking to his friend, he's like, a demon will come for you. He's like, only people that come for me are debt collectors and a bad case of the clap. Am I right?
Oh my God, it made me sick.
I felt like there should have been a guy in the corner. Every time he said a line, I was like, who is writing these lines? He's like, once they let him slide it by you become a snowboard. I mean, he's like,
yes, the snowboard one.
What is happening? I don't. He's like that's knick-knack paddywhack bullshit. I'm like, this movie's knick-knack paddywhack bullshit. It's like every line. I was like writing these down. I was like, I felt like he just went to some old. We talked about made the Borscht Belt reference earlier, but it felt like old school comedy one-liners, and I think that's why he reminded me of Ed O'Neill. It felt like Married with Children, where he's saying, because there's like several parts, like, my wife is a demon. That's like, shut up.
Yeah.
But the whole And then he's got this house where he can lock down the windows.
Yeah.
He can trap this family. It's like, I don't. What
But
was
for
the
some
point
reason
of
it doesn't work, and the way you get it to work is by pounding on the button. I guess I don't know.
What is he going to get out of this if he's allowed this family to perish? And who cleans up a bunch of dead bodies in a few hours?
Oh, I know. Yes.
I don't know. There's like so many logic
So
holes. There's which again, I don't know. He says like this has so many holes like Swiss cheese. It's like,
Oh my God!
did you get from this old timey joke book to write these lines? I don't know. There's like so many things that don't make sense. You hate this main character, so why do I even care what he's doing this for? I mean, it would have been interesting if he actually cared about trying to prove that his friend was crazy.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
But then it just felt like maybe he did the same thing to his friend too. You know?
They set it up to sound that way. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love how the other friend comes along and just casually picks up the one guy that jumped out the window off the street and throws him in.
Nobody
Throws him in the trunk, and nobody's seen him, and
Nobody
there's
has
no
any
blood
morals
anywhere
or
except
anything.
for a little on his
God, yes.
face.
Like,
Oh,
he's done that
so we got to
before.
cut the bodies up and take them out. Okay.
Just
I mean, there was blood splatter everywhere in those rooms. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's like so many logic, and then when you change that whole the last fourth of it,
Oh.
which I was thinking, is this a new family? Did they?
I was like, who is
I
this?
didn't even know it was the same family. Until we get the next little thing, you know, we're like, let's watch the footage, you know.
I wasn't even sure it was the same place.
Oh,
at first,
I know,
right? It's
I
like-
know. I felt like it was a new house, and I was like, I thought, well, maybe the family moved out of there, and they brought the demon with them, or maybe it's a whole new little girl, and maybe she has the teddy bears. I was like, I'm so confused as to what's going on here, and then by that time I just didn't care. I was like,
Yep.
you know, I'd rather it play out like it needs to play out for me to care about what's happening. But when you already make that and you've already said, oh, everybody's dead or whatever, and then like the whole twist was just stupid, just stupid at the end, and it was like bad CGI stupid. It was like 1990s Transformers or like, what was it, the Animorphs? It's like the kids show. That's what it felt like. I was like, I don't. I'm out.
That didn't bother me as much.
Yeah,
Not as. I mean, there was so much else that didn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many things, but for one of your main characters to be so horribly unlikable, why do you center you? I mean, I almost feel like they thought, well, maybe this guy's funny because he's making all these one-liners. No, it
doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah, no, it sounded like somebody was trying to come up with all their own colloquialisms. You know, like I'm going to come up with this snowboard thing and that. What was the other one you said? And they just were like,
well, yeah, it's like I mean, that whole scene where he's trying to get out of the room, I was like, get out of the room and stop saying your fucking one-liners. I don't care. I want to get to the story. But I mean, yeah, there's an opportunity to tell a cool story with that, you know, just with that buildup. But even I didn't really like the prison scene either. I felt like that was a waste of a great actor from The Mummy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I had the same problem. I was actually searching on our little screener to see if it had like was it where it tells the words of what the people are saying or whatever.
Oh, subtitles?
Subtitles. I'm sorry.
Dave's
my brain's burnt by this film. I was trying to look for subtitles and it didn't, because he's like, he was like whispering. I was like, where was the guy that was yelling in The Mummy?
Yeah.
And
or where was the director telling him to be louder then? You know,
I don't know. And I don't know that the family was scattered. You didn't really understand that, and I feel the same way that you do, Crystal, because I think there's one line where her girlfriend says, you pardon my French, you just ate pussy to get back at him or something, which just felt like a guy writing female dialogue.
Yeah, that would just not. Oh God.
I mean, I hate to be. I mean. Again, there was some opportunities. There was, I mean, there's a tub scene that actually scared the shit out of me. which I was like, okay, you scared me for a moment. And then there's a moment where like you see like a hand come out of under a bed with a little girl, and that's kind of creepy. So it had those kind of cool, creepy moments that would have worked better in a better film.
Yep.
But everything else around it just soaked into this weird goofiness that didn't make sense. And then when you change up the structure of it in the last fourth, you've pulled me out of it.
It was definitely tonally challenged.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
it
being
was all over the
kind.
place. Is it? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll try to
That's
throw
really-
the kindness out there.
Really, like I can accept a lot, but it was when it went to the dude, it literally was so cringy. I was like, and would the dude be okay in a different movie? Sure. Actually, fine. I don't care.
I don't want to
if
see
you're
him in
in
any
some
other
trash,
movie as that
like,
character.
But what on earth? Like literally no one talks that much. Like he's alone and he's like, instead of just letting his face show what he's feeling, he has to say what he's there's just no way that would happen. There's just no way. Dude, you're by yourself. Do you
Go to
really
sleep.
like
Go to sleep.
Yes, like
Go to sleep. He said that like several times.
Oh, and when he's going and he's like, where'd she put the teddy bear? Where'd she put the teddy? I like over and talk, and I'm like, we get what you're doing. Okay, we get it. Like, why don't you just show us what you're doing instead of
when he tries to get the teddy bear back and his explanations are like, oh god, this seems like some almost like
it's just so bad.
weird. I don't know.
It's
Well,
not good.
and when the guy jumps off the balcony, right?
Yes.
However that happens, and Joey is like running circles around him, yelling at him.
Don't.
Never touches him.
No.
Don't touch him. Don't try to stop him physically. Just get out of the way and let him go over there and climb up, and don't touch him until he jumps, and then reach after him. And I
she
blame
says
that
something
on
weird,
direction.
too.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It
She
felt
also
like-
says something super weird during that too.
Well, it felt like Willy Wonka. No, don't jump. It just felt like she wanted him to jump or something. It's like if you care. I mean, I guess she barely knows the kid, but if you care
She
for
was
somebody
making out
not to
with
kill
him, though.
themselves,
Yeah.
hold on to them.
Mhm.
But she's almost like, I'm not touching you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I don't want to get COVID because I'm going to be 6 feet away from you or something.
Well, they were
I don't
making
know.
out though, mugging down. So like
Mugging
that's
down. There you
mugging
go.
down. Yeah. So
Throw that.
I
in
learned
the
so much from this show.
Mug it down.
All right, let's take that and let's wrap this up and give our final thoughts. Our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Yes, and Jeff, right? No,
Yeah.
No.
Was it
Oh,
Jeff or Chris?
I went
Christopher.
first.
Christopher, you are first.
oh no.
So what's the lowest I can go?
How low can you
This,
go?
yeah. There was an opportunity of a movie here. And this is, I felt locked in this layer that I really wanted to escape from.
Nice.
Because there's like so many cinema sins when it comes to things they did in this film. There's, they screw up the structure in the last fourth for no reason. One of your main characters is extremely unlikable, so he just annoys you every time he comes on screen, and then actually has dialogue that seems like it was written by stand-up comedians from the 1950s.
Wow.
like
Wow.
I Take My Wife
Yep.
stuff. And then you have these characters, and it doesn't, the plot of it doesn't make sense. There's really no reasoning why he does this, or even why that guy helps him. He's such an asshole. And then the things they do to make up for, like, so what are you going to do now that you've cleaned up the crime scene? I mean, there's so many like extreme holes to this, and I'm going to hold off from saying some witty thing because I don't think that it'll give reasoning for why they should say things in this film. But yeah, this film is a mess. It's a frustrating mess. And then like, just listen to the sound design. It's like old school walking down with tap shoes, walking in scenes and stuff, and the music is off. The music almost feels like when you buy music and you just add it instead of getting someone to score
Yes.
music to it,
Yep.
which you see a lot of in like independent films because they don't have money to pay a score composer, which I hate to. But the music's off. The music doesn't really play into what's happening, and then some of the special effects. There's a lot of like CGI blood in the dark stuff.
Yeah.
And a weird shadowy figure that's like the smoke monster from Lost. So I don't know. It had a couple of good spooky scenes. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll give it a 1.25.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
That
giving it
seems
a
fair.
0.25 because of the 2 jump scares.
There you go.
Otherwise, I would give it a straight 1. Like Lifeline 1. But I'll give it a 1.25. If I had to pick a scene, I will say.
And you do.
How dare you? Does end credits count? No. I'll say there's a jump scare that happens when the woman's in the tub that I thought worked well as a jump scare, even though after you're like, oh, that's a CGI blob. So I'll say the jump scare because I was so out of this whole movie. I was so frustrated for it to find a time to scare me. I give them that much. But yeah, this is like one of the worst films I've seen this year.
Oh no!
I hate to say it, but yeah.
Oh no! All right, Jeff Mohr.
Come go along with us.
Oh yes, well, welcome aboard, Kristen.
I know. What have I got myself
Yeah.
into?
Just wait. What have I got?
Gets better.
All right.
Week after week.
And worse.
It's just too irritating, and the way they told it, like you were talking about that last quarter where we like skipped a whole part, and then we have to figure out what's going on,
Oh yeah.
and then they come back and supposedly they're watching video, but obviously the video's making cuts that there's no way in hell that could have happened. So who knows where those camera shots were. It's like they did this and forgot to fix that somehow. I don't know.
Or maybe they were missing footage or something, and they had.
I don't know. But so yeah, and I was really I'm not as kind as Doc. The 3 adult characters in this, the two women and the guy in the other room, just drove me batty. Carly not as bad. That character not quite as bad until as time went on, it started to really bother me. It didn't make sense to me. Her reaction. So, geez, I was thinking maybe I was going to be too harsh, but I was going 1.5. So 1.5, and for favorite scene, I'm going to pick when. I guess we can be spoiler in this part, right?
Yeah.
Go
Oh
for it,
yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
When Joey gets it, which first, if I remember right, the way she gets it,
Yes.
and the visuals of it, I thought were pretty good.
Yes. There's some. It took guts to do that. Is that
Oh,
You're always
dare
taking
you.
words right out of my mouth.
Oh, yes. All right. Crystal, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, and your favorites.
He's trying to vie for the next.
He's going to
Next
be in the
role.
sequel. Doc's going to be in the
Yeah.
sequel.
I am.
He's going to
Layer
be the guy
2.
running the cameras.
Layer too much.
So obviously, I agree with my co-hosts or cohorts here. I mean, it's just there's.
Oh no! She froze up in the middle of everything. What's going on, Eric? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Am I okay? Am I back?
There, she's back.
I was like, of course. I didn't have any problems until I started talking about this. Like that demon's coming after me.
Oh,
But so basically, the editing. I think what I'm going to give it a 1.25 as well. And the reason I didn't give it 1.5, which I had considered, is because the editing is so poor that you're so confused and it takes way too long for you to understand. And when the detective is watching this video and apparently figures something, you're like, no, he didn't figure that out. I'm sorry. Just none of that freaking worked for me at all. It's just really ridiculous. And I think that he wanted to tell a story that he just wasn't able to do. Hopefully he learns from this, because I still feel like there's something there. I feel like some of the spookiness is not that bad, and it could be okay if he hones his craft. I don't know how old this guy is or whatever, but age doesn't matter. But I'm gonna say my favorite scene is I kind of like at the carnival or whatever when the gay pride parade where the girl runs off and then I know it's CGI, but you saw this shadowy figure. It had some tension. Maybe it's just because, thinking about the girl being lost in this crowd, I guess that's my favorite scene. I don't know.
You don't know?
I mean, that one I felt a little bit of tension, but I think it was more about the girl being in this crowd of people. But it worked regardless, so whatever.
Yeah, I think he did effectively capture that claustrophobic feel of this little girl lost in all these sea of people that are 3 times her height. Yeah, so that worked. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so along with the 3 of you, I disliked this film. It rubbed me the wrong way in many ways, and we've discussed all those ways for the past 30 minutes. Most of it for me rested on the dialogue and that transition. The time jump. I like that. However, I did find a couple of good things, and we've talked about them. There's a couple good scares. I forgot about the scene you just mentioned, Crystal, and I thought that was really good. And I did like Alana Wallace as Carly. I thought of all the characters, I thought she did a great job. And there's one particular scene with her that I thought I really felt, and I was. It might be because she was wanting to get out of there.
Yeah.
And I felt that.
What am I doing?
I want to be clear. I want to be clear. I'm complaining about the characters, not the actors.
Yeah. Okay. Fair
I just
enough.
want to make sure.
So yeah, 1.5, and I feel bad. I feel bad when I give something that, but I'm actually going to end on 2 favorite scenes.
Ooh,
what?
Believe it or not.
So broken.
I know. I'm so broken. It's a scene I've talked about with Carly when she goes off on everybody. I was all about like, yeah, give them shit because they suck. And then there's one scene where I think it's during the party where the kids come over, and the one girl who's a friend encounters the spirit and gets pulled into the door. The body language of that and the suddenness of it, even though the CGI was obvious, I thought that was really effective. I really felt the impact of it and the setup for it. So there's scenes like that I really enjoyed. I just really enjoyed that. That was good.
There was one scene that was unintentionally funny to me, or
maybe it was intentional.
Well, the detective comes into the little girl's like, "You're safe now," and there's blood splatters all over the little dollhouse behind him. And I started laughing. I was like, "How are you gonna tell this little girl everything's safe when there's like a huge blood splatter across this little dollhouse next to her?"
So there's another dialogue part that really bothered me when the detective comes in and the officer's with the little girl and he says get out, and the fact that the officer an officer if they have any brains would never speak to a detective. She's like, no, you get the freak out when the detective tells you to get out. They run the show. That's the way it is. That's the way it works. They're the detective, you're the officer.
But why did they have to get out in the first place?
Because he wanted to talk to the little girl and she had to change.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah.
Because of poor writing, see?
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, the whole thing is all jacked up. It's so ridiculous.
All right, well, there you go. That's our review for LAIR. It's Winning Friends 101. we please let us know what you think of the film down below when you watch it.
Someone's gonna like it.
Yeah, somebody.
Inevitably.
Yes. Obviously, we missed all the points of it.
You could you can have a fun drinking game every time there's a really cheesy line that the main actor.
Man, you won't make it. You will not make it through this movie if you do that. All right. Well,
You have alcohol poisoning.
yes, Jeff, Crystal, Christopher, thank you for joining me. As always, this is a lot of fun, even when this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, an evil LAIR.
We love that you made a movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey. Well, you know,
It's hard.
They came together and made a film. Bravo! And there's some great moments in it. So it's not, you know,
It's not all bad.
I'm sure there's probably some people that really love it. So
Yeah, the people
Me,
that
not
were
so much.
in it or working on it for sure. Probably.
Yes.
Maybe.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and end this. Let's say goodnight, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.